Hello everybody, this is Brian Tate coming to you from Victoria, BC, Canada, doing a little short series of videos for you. My friend and publisher Alan Petger at Pavan Publishing asked me if I would talk about some of my music, so that's what I'm here to do. I've had a wonderful career, and Pavan has been very, very good to me, and I'm happy to do whatever I can to repay the favor. So we're going to talk about some of my songs, and I'm going to start with Hold Me, Rock Me, which has been released in a number of different voicings, a cappella piece in the style of a spiritual, although it's completely original. And, you know, people ask me a lot at sessions, as they ask all composers, you know, where do you get your ideas from? How do you write your music? Why did you write this piece the way you did? And Hold Me, Rock Me has a very unusual beginning to it. And that was, I had been doing a number of concerts. This is back in the early 2000s, when I was more active as a jazz vocalist with ensembles, but also I was doing a project with vocal looping, which was in its infancy in those days. Pretty much the only thing you could get was a Boss loop station where you could overlay parts and you had to live with what you got. So it was an exciting piece to perform with, but it was also an interesting compositional tool. So I was on holidays with my wife, and along with, you know, manuscript and pencils, just in case I got ideas, I took the loop station along and just played around, improvising, trying ideas out. And one of the ideas that just came one day was, and I think it was one of those rare occasions where the lyrics came along with the melody, which usually doesn't happen. Hold me, rock me, calm and easy. Hold me, rock me, deep and wide. And it kind of took off from there. And I just kept going around and around, improvising, trying out different parts. One of the things I like about the happy accidents that come out of experimenting this way is the tenor part originally was designed to be homophonic and happen with all the other parts, and I ended up taking it and shifting it over, which gave it that nice little counterpoint. Hold me, rock me, calm and easy. Hold me, rock me, deep and wide. Hold me, rock me in your arms. I got a home, I got a home on the other side. And then I needed to come up with verses, so I drew from the time-honored tradition of spirituals, folk songs, hymns, because the song was about crossing over to the other side. So rivers, mountains, crossing over, and the whole song took shape very, very quickly. I was very happy with it, and continue to be, and I love to hear all the different versions that choirs come up with for Hold Me, Rock Me.
Hold me, rock me, calm and easy. Hold me, rock me, deep and wide. Hold me, rock me in your arms. Oh, I got a home on the other side. Hold me, rock me, calm and easy. Hold me, rock me, deep and wide. Oh, hold me, rock me in your arms. Oh, I got a home on, I got a home on, I got a home on the other side. Gonna cross that river someday. Gonna set out on my own. Don't know where my journey leads, but I'll keep on walking till I get me home. Yes, hold me, rock me, calm and easy. Hold me, rock me, deep and wide. Hold me, rock me in your arms. Oh, I gotta home on the other side. My life is a running river, flowing from the mountains to a distant sea. I've known many hills and valleys, but when I reach that ocean, I'll be free. Yes, hold me, rock me, calm and easy. Hold me, rock me, deep and wide. Hold me, rock me, sooner or later. I gotta hold on, I gotta hold on, I gotta hold on the other side. Yes, I gotta hold on, I gotta hold on, I gotta on the other side.
Well, let's talk about my piece Connected a little bit. This is also a piece that's been done in many voicings because the lines are very contrapuntal, and it seems to work well in a variety of voicings, so I'm really happy about how that turned out. It was never my intention, just some pieces turn out that way. And this is a piece that didn't get written under the sort of the usual circumstances. It wasn't a commission, it wasn't an idea I had ahead of time. I had a sketch that ended up being the chorus of the song. I am a part of you, you are a part of me, and so together we are one body. I am inside your head, you are inside my heart. We fit together, perfect from the start. And then we're back into the main part of the song. The chorus of the song comes from a sketch that goes back, I don't even know how many years, 20, 25 years. One thing composers tend to do is, we get ideas, little fragments of ideas, little melodies, little harmonies. We write them down, we put them away. I have a file folder full of little ideas looking for a home. Sometimes they find it, sometimes they don't. That's just kind of scratched out on paper. Here's something I pulled out of a file of sketches that still haven't found a home. This is what it looks like. It's quite a mess of chicken scratches, but every now and then I'll go back and go through the music and see if anything kind of lands. And that little chorus is something I always remembered. So that goes along with this fascination I've always had with quantum physics, with subatomic particle physics. Now, I'm not a science person by any means, but I'm always interested in this whole idea that if you get small enough, everything comes down to individual particles. So as we walk around in human form, we have this idea that there's this separation, that I end where my skin ends, and then there's this space of air, and you're over there, and we are different. We're different beings, but if you break it down small enough into the particles, there's no difference. There's just simply one flow. of being. So there's the line, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. And that kind of started the whole song off with this kind of little jazzy groove. It's a real common groove. It's kind of a walking bass. You hear a lot of that in jazz. You hear it in gospel music, up tempo. So it's a fundamental little groove that you hear in a lot of music. That became I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see? So then I had to write something on top of that, and that created the next line and the next line and the next line. And then finally the tenors have the big reveal as to what the song is about, which comes later in the song. I am you, you are me. It's a fact subatomically. So I apologize for the corny rhyme, but hey, why not? How many songs out there are there about subatomic particles? So there is a little bit of connected.
I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see,
Seems like I'm over here,
you are
and
me.
you're over there.
That's what I said,
There's something between us that's
me.
greater than air.
Don't you
It
see,
seems like I'm over here,
you are
and
me.
you're over there.
That's what I
There
said,
is something between us that's
me.
greater than air.
Don't you
It
see,
seems like I'm over here, and you're over there.
That's what I
There
said,
is something between us that's
me.
greater than air.
Don't you see,
Seems like I'm over here, and you're over there.
That's what I
There
said,
is something between us that's greater than air.
don't you see,
Seems like I'm over here, and you're over there. There is something between us that's greater than air. Seems like I'm over here, and you're over there. There is something between us that's greater than air. Seems like I am a part of you, you are a part of me, and so together we are one body. I am inside your head, you are inside my heart. We fit together, perfect from the start.
I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see,
It's like I'm over here, and you're over there.
That's what I said,
There's something between us that's greater than air. It seems like I'm over here, and you're over there.
That's what I said,
There's something between us that's greater than air. It seems like I'm over here, and you're over there. There's something between us that's greater than air. It seems like I'm over here, and you're over there. There's something between us that's greater than air. It seems like I am a part of you,
now we're going to look at Kakilambe, which is a traditional song from West Africa. This is a piece that West African music generally has rhythm parts and vocal parts and dance parts, and they all fit together. So there is a dance that goes with Kakilambe as well as the song and the rhythm. I learned this song years and years ago from a good friend of mine and a colleague, Lyle Pova, who is also a hand drummer and has studied African music. And he would do workshops similar to what I would do. And periodically, he and I would get together and not only catch up, but we would trade songs. He would play me some new things that he'd learned or he'd used, and I'd do the same. And so this is a song that I learned from Lyle. And I always found it really catchy and really fun. And there's actually not much to the original song. So there's just the middle part, my mo mama, my mo Kakilambe kekombe. That's it. That's all I learned from him as the original part of the song. And there is a drum part that kind of carries the rhythm of the song. And then the song is overlaid on top of that. My mo mama, my mo Kakilambe kekombe. My mo mama, my mo Kakilambe kekombe. And so on and so on. Well, there's not that much to that, so I needed to expand the arrangement. So one of the first things I did was to create this bass line that runs through the whole song. Kakilambe, 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 which is a nice counterpoint for the original melody. And then bringing in harmonies. Third harmony, which kind of modernizes it a little bit without losing too much of the original. And that filled out the song quite nicely. Now, there's a part later in the song where it breaks into two different choirs singing in counterpoint with each other, kind of like a round. Anyway, obviously I can't do both parts at the same time. And I'm not sure how that came about. I suspect that I was trying out this piece with my choir when it wasn't in the fully formed stage. And I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool? I wonder if we take that basic chorus and we split it in two and have the parts answer each other. And what would that sound like? And we all liked the result of that. So that became part of the original arrangement. Anyway, it's a fun song to perform. It's one of those songs that sounds way more complicated than it is, so you will impress your audience with it. I hope you enjoy Kakilambe. right, let's have a look at a fairly new arrangement of mine of a folk song that I arranged for TTBB choir, Drill Ye Terriers Drill. And for many of you, that might be a very familiar song. It's one of those songs that's been around for a long time. Well, actually, since the late 1800s. It was first showed up in music publications at the late part of the 19th century. And why now? Why did I arrange it? Well, it's been one of those songs that's been in the back of one of my brain music files for a long time. I learned the song first in elementary school, believe it or not, and it's been kind of around ever since. It's a very catchy song. It's a historical piece, it's a political piece. It's really about Irish workers who came to the U.S. to help build the railroads, and what an incredibly difficult job that was. So the terriers were the workers. They drilled holes into rock and blasted the rock for tunnels. It's a song to help the work go by easier and safer, and there's a lot of humor in it, you know. So it shows you really that one of the ways of getting through a very tough job is to have some music and to have some humor while that's going along at the same time. It's got a real bounce to it. It's a fun piece to sing. Every morning at 7 o'clock, there were 20 terriers a-working at the rock, and the boss comes along, says, keep still and come down heavy on the cast iron drill. Drill ye terriers drill, drill ye terriers drill, for it's work all day for the sugar in your tay, down beyond the railway. Drill ye terriers drill. I love that line. It's work all day for the sugar in your tea, or the sugar in your tea. And it's not just a throwaway line. Sugar was very expensive at the time, so who knows how much of a day's wage it might take for enough sugar to make your tea palatable. It's a fun song to do. You know, it's interesting nowadays, for some reason, sea shanties are enjoying a big revival. And I think it's because, again, they're fun to sing. They've got a rollicking kind of feel to it. And if you just change the words to this, you could easily have a sea shanty. So it's a fun song. I've had the pleasure of conducting it with community men's choirs and also high school TTBB choirs. And it's just one of those songs everybody seems to enjoy. So that's Drill Ye Terriers Drill.
Every morning at 7 o'clock, there were 20 terriers a-working at the rock, and the boss comes along and he says, keep still and come down heavy on the cast iron drill, and drill ye terriers drill, drill ye terriers drill, for it's work all day for the sugar in your tay, down behind the railway, and drill ye terriers drill, and blast and fire and blast and fire. The boss was a fine man down to the ground, and he married a lady 6 feet round.
She baked good bread, and she baked it well,
And she baked it hard as the rocks of hell, and drill ye terriers drill, drill ye terriers drill, for it's work all day for the sugar in your tay, down behind the railway, and drill ye terriers drill, and blast and fire and blast and fire.
our new foreman Jim McCann.
My God, he was an awful man.
Last week a premature blast went off,
And a mile in the air went Big Jim Goff.
and drill ye terriers drill, drill ye terriers drill, for it's work all day, for it's work all day, for the down behind the railway, and drill ye terriers drill, and blast and fire. Next time payday came around, Jim Goff $1 short was found. When asked what for, came this reply,
You was docked for the time you was up in the sky,
and drill ye terriers drill, drill ye terriers drill, for it's work all day, for the shame, for the shame,
Let's have a look at Take Down These Walls. It's always interesting how a piece comes into being. Sometimes it's a commission with a specific theme, and sometimes composers just get inspired to write. And I have to say, with all the different world events going on over the last few years, there's been lots to write about in music and in text. Take Down These Walls was written in 2017 after I had been invited as the guest music director for the Unitarian Universalist Music Directors Annual Conference, which I had done before, and it was always a wonderful time. Imagine having a choir of nearly 150 to 200 music directors from Universalist Unitarian churches. It's pretty great. So they invited me to come and work with them for 3 days. And the conference in 2017 was in Arlington, Virginia, which is a stone's throw from Washington, from the power seat of everything that was going on. And there was a lot of controversy going on in 2017. There was a lot of talk about building walls, both real and metaphorical walls. And in fact, that became the theme of the conference, was looking at the idea of walls. And I just thought, I'd been writing a lot of protest music, and I thought I have to write something for this conference that addresses this. So I used the metaphor and I wrote Take Down These Walls. And it's written in a very kind of traditional black gospel choir style. Even though it's written in 3, it's really a slow 12/8 feel. So it's got that kind of nice, easy groove with a little bit of a swing feel to it. You know, sometimes the music ideas come first, and then you've got to kind of find the words to go into it. Sometimes you get ideas for the text, for lines, for rhymes, and then you go back and write the music. This was one of those songs where both the text and the music came very quickly together. Take down these walls that divide us. Take down these walls so deep inside us. With all your heart and soul, reach out and make us whole. When all these resistance falls, down these walls. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun writing that song, and it was a real thrill to perform it in Arlington, Virginia. And to have such an impact on so many people at the time. So I hope you enjoy Take Down These Walls.
Inside us, with all your heart.
are so deep inside us. Oh, with all your heart and soul. Reach out and oh, won't you reach out and make us whole. Can you hear? Oh, can you hear us? Oh, sing it now. Shout it. Rise up together. Rise up together now. Oh, yeah, won't you take down? Take down. Oh, won't you break down? Oh, won't you break down? Take down these walls. Oh, take down these walls inside us. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, won't you break down? Oh, sing it out now, yeah. Oh, we need one another. Oh, take down. Oh, take down. Come on, choir. Ooh, yeah. Oh, won't you take down? Oh, take down these walls. Divide us. Love one another. Yeah, we need each other now. Ooh, won't you bring down? Oh, won't you bring down? Oh, yeah. Hold on to one another. Oh, stand up for one another. Take down. Oh, won't you take down? Oh, won't you take down? Oh, help us take down these walls.
Well, now we're going to have a look at another arrangement of mine, Roll Jordan Roll, which is a spiritual from the times of slavery, a song of inspiration and a song with a coded message in it, as many songs to do with rivers did, and in this case, the River Jordan. What I love about this song is, as with so much music from oral traditions, there are so many different versions. Anything that does not get sealed down in paper is subject to much interpretation and many versions, not only musically, but with lyrics. The version I've done is fairly conventional in terms of its melodic structure. Roll, Jordan, roll, roll, Jordan, roll. And the original idea I got from this wonderful volume, James Weldon Johnson and Rosamond Johnson, The Book of American Spirituals, which has a huge variety of spirituals that are put into, as many songs did around the early 20th century, there's a piano accompaniment to them. And so this version is a roll, Jordan, roll. So it's fairly conventional. It's basically 1, 4, and 5 chords. It's right on the beat. So I used that as a departure point for my ideas of Roll Jordan Roll, and made it a little bluesier, made it a little more syncopated. There's so many wonderful versions of the song. Mahalia Jackson does a version of it in a slow gospel 12/8, which is a really wonderful version. feel to it. So there's many different feels to it, but mine was inspired by the Weldon Johnson version. But this is where I made a departure and made it more bluesy and more syncopated. So roll, Jordan, roll, roll, Jordan, roll. I'm gonna go to heaven when I die. So it's full of syncopations. I really wanted to write a kind of a showpiece for choir that demonstrated all different kinds of choral tricks, if you will, kind of a festival piece. So this has got syncopations in it. There's lots of canonic imitation. There's a gospel style breakdown in the piece. The verse, oh brothers, you ought to have been there. So it's fluctuating between major and minor. Brothers, you ought to have been there. Then major, yes, yes, yes. Sitting up in the kingdom to hear old Jordan roll. And you hear that passage a lot. With a blues scale in there. So every section gets a little bit of a feature in it. You get these cannons. After a while you get stretto cannons. You hear old Jordan, hear old Jordan roll. And then it starts to build up with the basses. Roll, Jordan, roll, 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 roll. To hear old Jordan roll. And underneath that you get I gotta roll, we gotta roll, we gotta roll. To hear old Jordan roll. Roll, roll, old Jordan roll. So lots of drama, lots of fun things for the choir to do. It's a really good exercise in learning syncopations because you've got them all through the piece. There's a section that's got a gospel choir breakdown in it that everybody's got something to do and nobody's lined up together. There's all these parts separately. Roll on, Jordan, roll on. Top of that. So lots of fun things to get independence happening in the sections and build up some excitement. This is one of my favorite arrangements to have written and one of my favorite arrangements to conduct. Definitely gives the conductor something to do as well as the singers. So I hope you enjoy Roll, Jordan, Roll.
Roll, Jordan, roll, roll, Jordan, roll. I wanna go to heaven when I die.
To hear old Jordan
Roll, Jordan, roll,
sisters,
roll, Jordan, roll.
I wanna go to heaven when I die.
Yes, Lord. Oh, brothers, you ought to have been there.
Yes, yes, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm sitting up in the kingdom to hear old Jordan roll.
Sing it over, roll,
Roll, Jordan,
roll,
roll.
Jordan, roll,
Jordan, roll.
Jordan, roll.
Go to heaven when I die.
To hear old Jordan roll.
Jordan,
Oh,
roll.
brothers, roll, Jordan, roll.
I wanna go to heaven
When I die, yes, Lord.
Oh, sisters, you ought to have been there.
Yes, yes, Lord.
Yeah. I'm sitting up
In
in
the
the kingdom
kingdom, to hear old Jordan
to hear
roll.
old Jordan.
To hear old Jordan
To hear
roll.
old Jordan.
To hear old Jordan, hear old Jordan, hear old Jordan, hear old Jordan roll. To hear old Jordan roll. To hear old Jordan roll. Old Jordan roll. Old Jordan roll, 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 roll. To hear old Jordan roll, 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 roll. To hear old Jordan roll.
We gotta roll, we gotta roll.
To hear old Jordan
I gotta roll, you gotta roll, we gotta roll.
roll. Old Jordan Jordan. I gotta roll, you gotta roll, we gotta roll. Hero Jordan. I gotta roll, you gotta